Alberta border near the road to Tumbler Ridge. 350 people live here, the descendants of a handful of founding families. They were trappers, pushed further and further west by white settlers. This remote spot is where they stopped 100 years ago. 5 generations have now grown up in Kelly Lake, and they feel tied to this land.
It feels like home, and it draws me here.
Derwin Kellyo teaches in the community.
I could probably stay here for the rest of my life and not really worry about wanting to travel the world or wanting to see the world.
That's a big area, real big.
At 72, Clarence Belcourt has been coming to this traditional hunting place for as long as he can remember.
Well, we live out there. We might as well be born out here all our life, eh? This is where we trap all this time. All my life I trap out here. So I really like this place.
Isolation has helped preserve their Aboriginal culture and traditions, but it has also allowed the outside world to ignore the problems here. These people are frustrated. They say everyone has turned a blind eye.
Frustration from not being recognized, frustration from all the work that they were out there doing, trying to make people understand the position that we were in, especially being an Aboriginal community.
The people of Kelly Lake may be Aboriginal, but they're not considered status Indians. They are Metis, which means mixed blood, part Cree, but also part French. And because they're Metis, they don't get the federal funding given to status Indians. But they feel it's not just the federal government that has neglected them, but every level of government at every turn. And that neglect, they say, has created enormous problems for their community. One of those problems is housing. As many as 10 people are crammed into some of these dwellings. There's not only a shortage, but the people here say the homes are falling apart because of shoddy construction. CMHC, the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, began building these houses in the community 15 years ago. Kelly Lake's sewage system was built at the same time. Waste from drains and toilets flows into these lagoons. Then the sewage is broken down by the elements. The problem is, many of these lagoons are faulty. Some are leaking, others are overflowing. Ann Thomas is the Chief Environmental Health Officer for the Peace River.
The most immediate concern is any time you have raw sewage that's leaking out of a system, in this case, leaking over a berm, is there could be bacteria, viruses, and other disease-causing organisms in the sewage effluent. So if you were coming in contact, physically coming in contact with it, kids were playing in it or dogs were carrying it into the house, there is a potential there for human contact.
There are lots of children in Kelly Lake, and they all use shortcuts through the bush.
And they have to come through this to go to the school. This is raw sewer. It's coming from this lagoon.
Lyle Latender is heading up the battle over sewage in Kelly Lake.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, there it is. You can see it. That's the farthest we can go because I don't have a rope.
This is where it's broken.
Yeah, this is where it's broken.
In some cases, the sewage has backed up into people's homes.
So you can smell it. Oh, really rank smell. Here's one of the bedrooms.
So much sewage flooded this basement, the people were forced to move away.
They've lived here for, 10 years, and I think ever since this house was built, ever since this house was built, the sewer's been like this.
The residents say years of sewage problems have also polluted the community's namesake. They claim Kelly Lake is so contaminated they can't swim in it anymore. CMHC has promised to get rid of the sewage lagoons. The Ministry of Health hopes they do it soon.
It's hard to say at this point, but we certainly are optimistic that something's going to be happening, within the next year, that there'll be something in place. But as I said, that's optimistic, and we're keeping our fingers crossed on that one.
Kelly Lake residents are less optimistic about getting phone service. There's only one telephone here in this shack on the main road. It doesn't take coins.
Hi, can I get 24233 and I'll calling card.
It's difficult for many people in this community to get calling cards. They have to call collect. Residents have been trying to get phones in their homes for about 10 years.
What if I was here home alone and, something happened? Wouldn't I be able to phone a neighbor and could you please come over and help? I need somebody here right away.
Glenda Campbell and her mother Caroline say not having a phone isn't just inconvenient, it's dangerous.
Well, yes, if I get sick, if I get an asthma attack, all I would have to do is just phone the doctor.
We are very concerned that all the potential customers, in fact all the existing customers of BC Tel are treated fairly and equally.
Colleen Connolly is the field services manager for the Peace River.
The cost for the construction to actually put the phone service, etc., into Kelly Lake is about $300,000. And what we were asking from the residents there is about $27,000. BC Tel would pay $270,000, and we're asking for a $27,000 commitment from the customers.
That's about $1,000 for every household that wants a phone. For Lydia Whitford, that's too much.
Well, I just told him, where am I going to get it? That's what I told him. I have to pay rent for my house and power for my house. Where am I going to get the 1,000? I asked them if they would bill me, by monthly basis, but they said no. I had to come up with 1,000 right now. So I guess I'll never have a phone.
Phones could help people here get jobs. 60% of the residents are unemployed.
I wanted to show it here.
A job training program has been introduced in Kelly Lake, but in order to get those jobs, residents would have to move out of the community. They maintain there is work here. They're just not getting any of it.
Whatever's happening here, we don't get nothing out of it. Nothing, not from the oil fields, not from Quintet coal, not from the logging, nobody. We get nothing out of it, absolutely nothing.
They say it's worse than that. They say they're losing their traditional livelihood because forest and oil companies are stripping the land around them.
What Clarence is afraid of, or what he's actually saying, is that he's starting to see the impact of all the other outside people coming into the area and starting to push our people away from what their livelihoods were. And it's starting to pose a really big impact on our community.
Jack Weisgerber is the MLA for the Peace River and a former Native Affairs Minister. He says it's up to the community to help government solve some of the problems.
I think that there needs to be a will among the people affected. They've got to come to some kind of consensus, some kind of an understanding of what it is they want from government or governments. For people, elected people from outside the community to come in and say, we're going to help you achieve this or this or this, I just don't think is on for the times.
The residents say there is consensus, that they do know what they want. They're asking all levels of government to acknowledge their claim to this land and its resources. Andrew Petter is BC's former Aboriginal Affairs Minister.
I think the Métis have absolutely fallen between stools historically. I think what I would say to people who feel that way, though, in the case of Kelly Lake, is that this government has taken some actions in the last year and a half that provide some cause for hope.
The people of Kelly Lake share that hope. They believe their community is special. Alcohol and drugs aren't a problem here. There are no suicides or murders. They say Kelly Lake is a safe place, a place which offers a sense of community most of us can only imagine.
There's not very many people that you would be leery of, We just leave the doors wide open. There's nobody around here that we're scared of because we're all from the same community. Our children grew up with all these people. I grew up with all these people. I'm safe. That's what I liked about this place. It is safe.
I wouldn't move from here. I don't have a vehicle, I don't have a phone, but I'm free here. We're in town, I wouldn't be able to make a moosehide there and go and smoke a moosehide first thing. If I went to smoke a moosehide in town, the police would be after me and the fire squad.
For these people, Kelly Lake will always be home. They say white settlers forced their Métis ancestors to move here. Modern-day problems aren't going to force them to leave.
Pretty wild to think that we've been pushed all the way from Manitoba, from
From rich land to rich land, over three provinces, and this is where the people decided to stop because they weren't going to be pushed out anymore.
Can't go any further.
Yeah,
anyway.
couldn't get any further. And now this is where they stopped, and that's why we feel so strongly that, we're not going to be pushed out of here anymore. This is a beautiful country, and that's why we say it's ours.
Karen Tankard, CBC News, Kelly Lake.